Welcome, my name is Sandeep Nair. I'm going to be speaking to Attorney Gehi about deportation and crimes. Welcome, Attorney Gehi. According to ICE, the Obama administration has deported almost 400,000 people as of October 2011. 55% of the people that were deported because they were convicted criminals. Now, if I commit a crime and I'm convicted of a criminal charge, will I be deported?
Depends on the crime that you have committed. And for example, if you've been charged with a very serious crime, and if that is considered to be a crime of violence, or for example, if you commit a rape, or if you're going to commit a serious felony, definitely your chances of saving yourself in the United States can slim down considerably. But if you're charged with a minor crime, luckily, I mean, we have waivers under the law. For example, you can apply for a 212H waiver, which means through that, I mean, if you can fight your case out, or if you've been here for more than 10 years, and you may be eligible for cancellation of removal. So you have some options. But if you're charged with a very serious crime, for example, rape, murder, kidnapping, I mean, you're looking at some serious trouble out here, and you can be ordered deported by the immigration judge, of course, depending on the facts and circumstances of the case. Cancellation of removal applies when a person has been living in this country for more than 10 years, and it applies to permanent residents as well as to non-permanent residents. And what happens in cancellation of removal is that you have to show hardship to your family members who are American citizens or green card holders. For example, if your parents over here are green card holders, and if I'm in a deportation proceeding, and if I can prove it to the judge that there'll be a lot of hardship if I were to be deported, then that's a ground for you to obtain some relief from the immigration court.
If I'm ever placed into detention, will I ever have a chance to obtain a green card in the future?
You're trying to say that you are in immigration jail right now, and you want to first come out from jail by means of obtaining a bond or a parole, and after that, is there a way for you to get a green card? Yes, we've had many cases wherein, for example, someone came in from a foreign country, and they were caught by immigration at the border, and after they get caught at the border, they get they are placed in detention centers. After that, generally, what we do, depending on the facts and circumstances of the case, I mean, if the person has a fear of persecution in his home country, we should immediately try to bond him out first. Once he comes out on bond, after that, what you can do is you can fight the case before the immigration judge, and if he can show that he fears persecution because of his race, or because of his national origin, or because of his political opinion, then under Section 208 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, you can actually apply for relief. And if he's successful, the good news is that he can still qualify for a green card in the United States.
As an immigrant, what do I do if I get a deportation notice?
The first thing you need to do is that no sooner you get this deportation notice, it's known as the notice to appear. A notice to appear is a document wherein you applied for relief, which means you applied for your green card, for example, and your relief has been denied. After that, immigration will send you a notice that your case has been denied, and now, I mean, I think you need to see an immigration judge and you need to leave the country. The very first thing you need to do is go and speak to any qualified attorney who knows how to handle deportations. And after that, sometimes people think that once if they get this deportation notice, that's the end of their case. The answer is no. That's a big misnomer. Even if you get a deportation notice, you can still fight your case before the immigration judge. And if you're successful, you can still qualify for a green card.
What are low priority deportation cases?
Low priority deportation cases, for example, this came out after the recent memorandum known as, commonly referred to as the John Morton Memorandum, which came out recently. Under that, for example, if a person is in deportation right now, and if his wife is a permanent resident, and if immigration feels that there's a strong likelihood that very soon the wife, who's a green card holder, will become a citizen, and she'll be able to adjust the husband to permanent residence in this country. So immigration generally exercises prosecutorial discretion. And according to this prosecutorial discretion, they actually can close the case before the judge, and they can wait for the green card in future. This is very nice of the government, and this came in very recently.
If my brother is a US citizen and I'm illegal, will I be able to avoid deportation?
If your priority date is current, and if you had a case before April 30th, 2001, and for example, if you're illegal here then I mean you may have a chance. We had a case like this wherein a family member had applied before April 30th, 2001, and that petition just came up. So in those cases, I mean, it's fine. But if you're telling me that you applied for your brother or for your sister recently, good luck. The answer is no luck. The answer is that because the priority date is not current, so unfortunately, you may not be able to help your brother.
Attorney Gehi, what should I do if I become out of status?
If you are out of status, it would be in your best interest to see an attorney right away. Because remember, you are illegal. You have violated the laws of the United States. And people think it's okay for me to be illegal here. Please don't do that, because nowadays, as you all rightly know, it's very important to be legal in America. It's not a good idea for you to be illegal. You can be picked up by Homeland Security at any time. They're not going to tell you when they're going to come over there. They'll just come in and they'll just pick you up.
Attorney Gehi, what is prosecutorial discretion in deportation cases?
Prosecutorial discretion means immigration will exercise their discretion on a case-by-case basis as to who should be deported and who should not be deported. For example, strong family ties and with U.S. citizens is a factor which is considered. For example, if you don't have any ties in this country and they think that you're a felon in this country, you committed some crimes, that's something wherein exactly they want to deport you from this country. Generally, I mean, when a person is in deportation, people think that he doesn't have any legal reliefs. That's a big misconception. You can apply for political asylum. You can even get married to an American citizen during the proceedings. For example, we've had cases wherein people came into this country on a B1, B2 visa, and they were before an immigration judge. During that time, what happens is that if the person says that he has a fiance, for example, and if he gets married to this US citizen fiance, what happens is that the judge generally will tell you, I'm going to close the case for the time being, and you need to go for a Stokes interview. A Stokes interview is an interview wherein husband and wife both get separated, and after that, if they pass the Stokes interview, and if there are no adverse factors affecting this particular matter, the good news is that he can still qualify for a green card in this country. For example, recently we had a client who was actually in the middle of a divorce. He was not even divorced from his first wife, and he had a deportation hearing coming up. So in this case, what we had to do is that we had to get him divorced first from his first spouse. Then during the pendency of the proceedings, this person got married to another US citizen spouse. And after that, we had to file the documents. Of course, the government was very much concerned regarding the legitimacy of both the marriages. And my client proved it, that both his marriages were legit. And thereafter, I mean, he actually passed the interview, and he's awaiting his green card at this point of time. So, I mean, never lose hope, because there are times wherein people have already been ordered deported in the past. For example, you did not get the deportation notice. The good news is that you can still try to reopen your deportation case. I mean, sometimes people think, oh my God, I'm already ordered deported. Remember, there are a few factors through which you can even reopen your old deportation case. One is known as exceptional circumstances, and the second one is change country conditions. For example, country conditions change. For example, in Libya, what is happening, and what's happening in Jordan right now. When country conditions change, you have a possibility of reopening your deportation case. And exceptional circumstances, and there's something also which is known as sua sponte jurisdiction of the judge, which means the judge can, on his own initiative, can reopen a deportation case. And there are judges who are very nice, and they feel that these are exceptional circumstances, and I'm going to grant this person the reopening of the case. So those things happen, but you have to be kind of ready for this, that or that even if you have an order of deportation, don't give up. The message is that anytime when you're on deportation, or even if you have been ordered deported, or even if you're illegal in this country, if you work hard, there may be a possibility that you can become legal in America. So what happens with people generally is that once they become illegal, they start getting depressed. They think, I don't think so, I have any hope. So, get that out of your mind. Look about the positive aspects of your life. Look at the positive aspects of your case. And if you are positive, that's 90% of the game. The rest depends on basically God. And if you believe in Him, and if you do your work rightly, I'm sure you'll be fine. So that's very important when it comes to deportation cases. Sometimes people also ask me these questions, Sandeep. I'm sure you know that the most common question is, I got this deportation notice and I met a lawyer and the lawyer told me not to go. Never commit that mistake ever. Anytime you get a deportation notice, show up in court. Judges are very nice. They respect people who show up. And let the judge know you need time for a lawyer. And you'll get 3 or 4 months. But if you're going to avoid going to the judge, if you're going to hide, it's going to haunt you in future. So it's better for you that no sooner you get a deportation notice, either see a qualified lawyer or just make your, plan your life accordingly. Don't think that, you're going to hide from deportation. Deportation is something that can haunt you in future. So keep those things in mind. And if you are going to be mentally prepared for these issues, then I'm sure that, sooner or later you'll be successful. As you rightly know that in this country last year, there were more than 400,000 people that were deported from the United States. And that's a very big number. And I think 400,000 people, when you're looking at, if you're illegal, you're at a risk of deportation. Answer is be legal. If you're illegal, try to become legal and live your life happily. A lot of our clients actually get married to American citizens. I think that's a fantastic way, for most people who are illegal to try to get the green cards. And immigration is very nice. If you have a legitimate marriage with an American citizen, then within 4 to 6 months you can qualify for a green card.
In deportation, do you have a complex immigration matter? Has your immigration case been denied? For all your complex immigration matters, including family-based immigration, employment-based immigration, deportation, citizenships, battered spouses, call Gehi Associates at 718-263-5999 for a free initial consultation.
Over the years, we've helped many people in getting the green cards. Would you like to have your green card? Call Gehi Associates now. The other question which I get from a lot of viewers is that, how about if I get married to a green card holder? In English, there's a saying that something is better than nothing. Get married even to a green card holder, because what will happen is that that green card holder can become a citizen in future. And once if that green card holder becomes a citizen, then you can even qualify for adjustment of status and get your green card in this country. So even if you're in deportation, sometimes people forget that they may be here for more than 10 years. And their parents are green card holders. Even that's a ground for you to fight. Sometimes your children get picked up just because they're charged with some serious felonies in this country. They may be citizens sometimes, because you need to see whether the parents were citizens before their 18th birthday. And if that's the case, they're automatic citizens and you may still be able to fight the case. So there are possibilities in every deportation case, but always look at your deportation very, very seriously and don't take chances. Recently, for example, we had a client in some other state and we represented him, and he was under the mistaken impression that we cannot help him because he's in another state. The good news is that an immigration lawyer can help you in any state, even if you're in Alabama, if you're in Texas, or if you're in New Jersey, if you're in Pennsylvania. Even if we are sitting in New York, the news is that we can represent you wherever you are. So it's your choice to choose your counsel and defend your case very well so that you won't have any problems.
Attorney Gehi, if an ICE agent shows up on my door, I'm a green card holder, do I have any rights?
Yes. The very first thing is that you should not be talking to the ICE agent. And if possible, let them know that you're represented by an attorney or you need a lawyer. And the more you're going to talk to them, the more you're going to get yourself in trouble. But they're not here to protect you. They're here to pick you up. They try to befriend you sometimes. They basically try to be very friendly with you. They do everything within their reach to get all the information, and they're correct, because that's their right. But it's your duty to protect your rights. So my answer to the question is that you should be ready, and you should say that you want to exercise your right to remain silent. And once if they come in, let them know that you need a lawyer, or I want to contact a lawyer.
If I'm a green card holder and I commit a felony, will I lose my green card?
You can lose your green card, but always defend it. Try to fight for your green card. Don't just give it up. That's a message, because sometimes you may consider that to be a serious offense, and the law may not consider that to be a serious offense. And it's the duty of the lawyer to show that to the court. For example, right now I'm dealing with a case wherein a person has been charged with the crime of structuring financial transactions. And I've been fighting with the judge that this is something that he should not be deported. But and the government is trying everything within his or their reach to get him deported. But this is a very tough fight. I mean, generally, you have to know how to fight cases, and that is a very, very important factor which you need to consider in deportation. Of course, I'm going to make it very clear, you may not be able to save every single person from deportation, but that's what a good lawyer should do. He should try his best, but leave the decision to the judge. And you cannot promise a result to a client that I'm going to get it done for you. That's against the law. But your duty as a lawyer is to zealously represent the best interests of your client.
Attorney Gehi, if I've already been deported, is there any way I can come back into the country?
Yes, you can. For example, if you're married to an American citizen here, and if you're deported, you can immediately apply and request for a waiver. You have to apply for a 212 waiver and a 601 waiver. And once you apply for those waivers, and if you're granted, you can come back within 1 or 2 years. If you're not granted those waivers, then you have to stay in the country for 10 years. But we had a client recently who was ordered deported, and we sent him back. And the wife applied, and he came back in 2 years. So the bottom line is that it's all a question of strategy, of how you strategize your case.
Can a naturalized citizen be deported from this country?
There have been instances wherein people have been charged with a fraud, which means if you fraudulently obtained your green card and if you lied to immigration and later on you become a citizen, that is one ground for the government to go after you to get the citizenship case reopened, and through that you may be deported. There have been cases like this recently, but in the past it was a very rare phenomenon. But right now, I mean, we've been seeing some activity in that. Secondly, a citizen can also be deported, a naturalized citizen, if he commits an act of espionage or overthrowing the United States government. So these are factors which can actually revoke your citizenship in this country. But it's very rare that happens, but people should be aware of the fact that they can be deported in such instances. Now, another reason why people should become citizens in this country. The good news is that generally a green card holder, when he gets charged with a serious crime, he can be deported from the United States. But a citizen cannot be deported even for an aggravated felony. So therefore, for example, we had people come in who said, Mr. Gehi, I was charged with drunken driving. I don't think so I can become a citizen. That is incorrect. Even if you were charged with drunken driving, I mean, if it's a minor crime, you can still qualify for citizenship. So the bottom line is that the message from Attorney Gehi here is that if you want to secure yourself in the United States, become a citizen. If you are a citizen, you have a fantastic chance of living here permanently. But if you're a green card holder, for me, I mean, this is my analysis. Nowadays, a green card is as good as a work permit in this country. Now, this is my saying, because it's just allowing you to live here. And if you get charged with the crime, please go home. So the best thing to do is to actually become a citizen here. And even if you have a crime or, for example, when I see those issues, what I do is that I look at the nature of the crime, because we had many people come into our office, say that, Mr. Gehi, I've been charged with this crime. There's nothing for you to worry about that, because on most occasions, you can just go to immigration and let them know that even if he has this minor crime, he still qualifies for citizenship. So even if you have a criminal record, this does not mean you're disqualified from becoming a citizen. You can still qualify for citizenship in the United States. And of course, there are many other benefits of becoming a citizen here. If you're a citizen, you can sponsor your spouse, and even if she's in a foreign country, she can come to America within a period of around 8 months to 1 year. If you want to call your parents here, they can come here in a period of 1 year. Brothers and sisters, you can sponsor for them, and they'll be in 8 or 9 years. So, I mean, unmarried sons and children, they can also come in. Your married sons and daughters can also come to the United States. So there are endless benefits in becoming a citizen in this country. Of course, not to forget, you get the right to vote in America, which I think people need to exercise. What happens with most immigrants is that after they become citizens, they don't want to vote. I think that's a big mistake. Your voice counts in America. It doesn't matter whether you're a naturalized citizen or a born citizen. There's no difference between a naturalized citizen or a born citizen in this country in that regard. So please do exercise your right to vote in this country. And if you're a citizen, you'll also be eligible for Social Security benefits, welfare, and every other benefit which any other American is entitled to in this country, because you're working hard and you owe your allegiance to the United States.
Attorney Gehi, if my son is a U.S. citizen soldier and I'm a green card holder, or I'm out of status or anything, does that help me in any way? Any benefit?
Yes, I mean, example, if you're out of status in this country and if your son can sponsor you for a green card here. So, even if you're a soldier, it helps a lot, and the government is very nice to soldiers, and they may even waive the interview requirement. So there are many, many pluses of serving the United States military. And I strongly encourage people, who are immigrants especially, to join the military, because I think it's a great way of proving your, allegiance to the United States. And even at this time, I think, since the military needs us, it would be fantastic if people could enroll in the U.S. military in our country.
Attorney Gehi, thank you for your time and the answers that you've provided for us. Viewers, I hope this segment was useful to you, and that we'll see you next time. Thank you.